So in previous lesson, we installed SQL Server successfully, and in today's lesson, we want to actually deploy SolarWinds Orion Server with the standard edition or advanced installation, which it need external SQL Server. And here is our SQL Server. Let's say -4 for ping version 4. This is the IP address 101 and 100 is our Orion server. That's great. Again, it's continued in installing .NET Framework and Microsoft Messaging Queue and the rest of component it may need actually before continue the installation. So we will wait for .NET Framework to be installed successfully. So for finalizing .NET Framework installation, we need actually to restart the server. So again, we log in back again to our Orion server, and again we actually run this wizard again. So here, this time we'll select standard installation and we'll say next here. As you can see, the destination folder of our Orion server. So we'll say next. And here network performance monitor is selected. You can choose whatever application that you need. But for our demo, we need only network performance monitor. And we'll say next. So for Orion log viewer, we have warning, we'll say more, and we'll say confirm. It will tell you about the SNMP requirements, and we'll say confirm and next. So here we have another warning, which is insufficient RAM. That will be okay for our lab, and we'll say next. And before you go ahead, actually you must read all the license agreement here, and we'll say next. So let's wait for the installation to be completed. So here we'll say yes actually to install IIS component. I should say the missing IIS components. So here we are on SolarWinds configuration wizard. Actually here we should specify the SQL server and authentication and the rest of configuration. We'll say next, and here we'll browse for the SQL server here in our environment. So as you can see, the wizard actually, it didn't find the SQL server. So we'll type SQL serve and we'll try to use the current login user. So for your SQL server and Orion server, try to use the same account with the same password. As you can see, now we can create a new database on our SQL server. Next. And here we have the option for SQL Server authentication and Windows or Microsoft Azure or Active Directory. Here we'll say administrator, local user, and the password. So this credential, the user and the password, is going to be our SQL Server credential. Next. And here it tells you you must check the password expiration for the administrator. So let's check out password expiration here to tell you how we can fix this issue. Here is our SQL Server. We'll say comp mgmt.msc, and here for local user, just actually you have select password never expire. That's okay. And here is the SQL Server authentication. So we'll go back to our Orion server, and here you can specify HTTPS and the self-signed certificate. And here you can enable automatic login using Windows authentication. In your production environment, you can use this option. Next. And here it tells you this directory doesn't exist, we should create it, okay. And the TCP port binding, which is going to be 80. Here you can specify the port. For example, you can say 81, 82, or whatever port that you need. And here we'll say yes, and next. And here's the configuration for log and event monitoring here. Next. And here we'll create a database for Orion server. Next. And next. So, and here is going to finalize the configuration for database and the Orion server. And here we'll click finish to actually launch Orion Web Console. So here we'll type the new password, which I'm going to use the simple password, but in your production environment, it is strongly recommended that you use complexity password, and we'll say save and login. So now as you can see, this is how you can install Orion server as a standard edition with external SQL server. Again, I should mention that in your production environment, it is strongly recommended that you use a standard edition. But for our purpose or practicing in our lab or practicing this course, you can actually escape this installation and use the simple installation to practice this course. And for this course, I am going to continue using the simple installation, which I already installed in previous lesson.